I brought up wedding drama from years ago, and my sister lost it.
Where is it? I don't know. Where?
Where'd the drama go?
Oh, sorry. That's her sister.
I, female 37, married my amazing husband, male 42, 7 years ago. We dated for 6.5 years before we got engaged, and I was 30 when we got married. Hubby was 35. I mention this because I'm from a small town in Indiana, less than 8,000 population, and it is normal for people to get married young, 21 or 22. By the way, this comes from FrogJump784, and if you want to share your stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I am one of 7 kids, 5 girls, 2 boys, and was the 6th in my family to get married. I was also the oldest out of all the girls when I married. My sisters had all married by 24 years old. Wow. When my husband proposed, I was so filled with joy and love, and I didn't want to drag things out to plan a wedding. I knew that he was my forever and just wanted to be married to him. We got engaged in January and married in July, which is that's not honestly like too quick. I know some people take like a year to plan, but
I feel like 7 months is plenty.
Yeah. Our options for venues were limited because there aren't many in that area, so many people book 1 to 2 years in advance. In the end, we decided to get married on my family's farm. We were happy about this because it would help cut costs. We paid for 90% of our wedding with a bit of help from our parents, and it would help us keep the guest list small because the barn could only hold 100 people. It is a tradition in my family that all of the women pitch in, mom, aunts, grandmas, and sisters, to help plan the event and DIY what we can to help cut costs. This is where the first issue came up. My parents and fiance's parents made a list of people to invite, keeping in mind that we were keeping it a small affair. They invited those close to them, but kept their list small to respect our wishes for a small event. Also, with the guest limit, we decided not to have children attend the reception. We made this decision because A, I have 14 nieces and nephews just from my siblings. My husband has 10, and B, we wanted to have a full bar and didn't feel comfortable doing that with so many kids around. 2 of my sisters were very upset by this because they wanted their children to be included in the special day. Funny enough, they both didn't include children in their weddings/receptions. We included the kids by having them at the rehearsal dinner and telling the parents that they could attend the wedding ceremony, but not the reception. I thought that this was fair because all of my siblings live on the same street as my parents, so they didn't have to go far to drop off the kids with a sitter after the ceremony. We also offered to pay for a few babysitters for the kids, as well as order pizza, snacks, and movies for them. It seems like they got it all sorted out.
Seems like it. I'm just
like they got it all sorted out.
Anticipating that shoe to drop.
Yeah. The second issue was that although my mom, aunts, and grandma were a great help with the planning, my sisters told them that they all had lunch and decided that they weren't going to help with the planning or DIY part because as I was in my 30s, I was an old maid. Girl was like exactly 30.
What are we talking about?
Yikes. And also just like insane however old she was. She could be 60 and that's still not cool.
Well, you called all of us old maids this morning now that I think about it.
I did not say old maids. I said old because everyone was gaslighting me because I heard a noise. I heard
that's crazy because I heard you say old maids.
That's crazy. And that most of the things that we did for their weddings wouldn't be appropriate for someone who's getting married later in life. I have great friends, and after I got over the initial hurt, I had a great time with the planning, surrounded by great women who supported me. Fast forward to the rehearsal dinner, I knew going into that day that my sisters weren't on the best of terms with each other. I wasn't 100% sure what happened as none of them wanted to talk about it, and I had spent the past months busy with wedding planning. My sisters were all bridesmaids. Knowing that they weren't on great terms with each other, I spoke with each of them separately and told them to be on their best behavior for the weekend, and they all agreed that they would. We get through the rehearsal and move over to the area for dinner. We had some games and a drink station to keep people occupied before dinner. We also had a photographer there that day because I wanted photos of hubby and I with the nieces and nephews. Things started out great and we were having a lovely time hanging out with the kids and taking photos. The photographer asked all of my siblings and their spouses and children to gather so that we could take a group photo. I was helping to gather everyone and I commented to my now husband about how blessed I felt to have all of my family there and that I was having a great day. I turned back to the group just in time to see 2 of my older sisters arguing and see the older one slap the other one in the face.
Ooh, there's that other shoe I was talking about.
I'm going to assume this is 2 of my other sisters arguing because Opie said that she was the oldest sister.
Yeah, no, it's not her. Right? Wait, what?
It says 2 of my older sisters arguing, but I'm assuming that she meant to say other sister.
Yeah.
I just froze. After a few seconds, I just turned around and walked away. I ended up standing behind a barn where I knew I would have a few minutes alone to calm down. Why are these sisters starting drama?
Just somebody,
Starting drama.
it's like they were raised in a barn.
Ooh. At some point, I heard someone calling my name, so I walked around the corner to see my dad and grandma. They could tell that I had been crying and asked what happened. I told them about what shall be known as the slapping, and they said that they'd handle it.
The Slappening.
The slapping!
Directed by M. Night
Shyamalan. Oh.
Yeah.
Steepest.
Steepest. M. Steepest.
By
M. Night Steepest.
Yes. I was promptly given a glass of wine and told to chill for another few minutes before pictures would resume. When I walked back to the group for photos, I noticed that my oldest sister wasn't there and that her husband and children were all gone. We took photos with the rest of the group, enjoyed a delicious meal, and had a few cocktails before heading home for the night to prep for the wedding the next day. Fast forward to now. Remember, I said that I was the 6th kid of 7 to get married? Well, the last remaining unmarried child in my family just got engaged 2 weeks ago, and it is my twin brother, male 37. We'll call him James.
Oh,
Congrats,
good for James. Hey, good for you, James.
Good fun, James.
What a good time for James.
I'm so excited for him and his absolutely wonderful fiance. She's a great person, and I'm so happy that he held out until he found the right partner in Jessica, female 35. I was so excited when they called to tell us the good news, as he had kept it a secret from all of us. Jessica's mother passed away 5 years ago, and she called my mother to ask for some help with the planning. They got engaged just before Christmas and are planning on getting married this June. My mom was so excited to be asked, and she planned a brunch for all of the girls in our family and also invited Jessica's grandma and aunts so that we could all meet and discuss the wedding. While at the brunch, Jessica got the same speech from my sisters that I did. Since she's older, they don't want to help. She pulled me aside and asked me if I'd be willing to help out, and I let her know that I'm happy to do whatever I can to make her day special. We set a time to gather at my mom's house the next week to start planning. The day before we were supposed to meet up, Jessica called me and asked me if I could bring some photos from my wedding because my brother had mentioned to her that it was one of his favorite weddings that he had attended, and he had a lot of fun. We met a bit early at my mom's house, and I had brought a flash drive with our photos, so we got some coffee and started looking through them. While we were looking through the photos, my oldest sister showed up, and we didn't realize that she was there. When we got to the rehearsal dinner photos, Jessica asked why my oldest sister and her family weren't in the family photos. I avoided the question at first, but she asked again, so I explained to her what happened at our rehearsal dinner. But I'm going to explain to you that you guys can listen to more episodes with stories like this if you go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime. And there is a little bit left to this tale where Opie's we're gonna find out what happened.
Indeed.
What preempted the slap.
I would just like to have one comment overall, which is that it doesn't matter when you get married. It doesn't matter if you're the last one. It doesn't matter if you're the first one.
Or if you're in the middle.
Truly.
It doesn't matter if you get married at all.
Yeah.
If you want someone to love and you find that person to love, you love them. And that's all that matters.
Hey, I'm going to let that one just hang out there because that was...
Just hang out there.
Like, that was... Put a bow on that
You're
one.
welcome.
Wrap it up. Put it underneath the Christmas tree. That was a gift.
You're welcome. But there is a little bit left. She thanked me and told me that she felt obligated to include myself and all of my sisters in her bridal party, but was hesitant because my sisters have never treated her well. My sister overheard this and lost it. She said that I was just bringing this up to make her look bad when everyone knows that she's the nice sister.
You're the sister in the slap off.
You can't just like dub yourself the nice sister.
Well,
that's kind of like a title that other people have to give you.
She didn't dub herself.
She's
the
like,
nice sister.
everyone knows that.
Exactly. That's what she said. Everyone else
Literally
dubbed her the nice sister.
She's like, it's not my fault that everyone told me that I'm the nice sister.
You're sounding like the other sister.
She has complained to our whole extended family that I have been telling lies about her to the bride so that I can be the star of the wedding, and said that I have always been jealous of her because my wedding wasn't nearly as beautiful as any of her 5 weddings.
5?
She had 5 weddings.
She had 5?
So am I the a-hole for telling the bride what really happened? And edit, my oldest sister has been married 5 times. 3 of the weddings were large events. They happened in her 20s. The last 2 have been small events with just immediate family when she was 32 and 40. So I guess it doesn't matter as long as the first time you get married, it's when you're 20.
Right.
The other consecutive
ones. The other ones don't count. Yeah. I got the first one in already.
I got the first one.
Yeah. It's like a combo. It's like it's 20, and then you multiply by the next one, and that's how many points that you get as a bride.
Yeah.
So with winning. 5 weddings, she has so many bridal points that it's undisputed that she is the nicest sister.
You can't beat her.
Because how could someone have that many bridal points if they weren't nice?
That's what I'm saying.
And I don't know what system I just invented, but I feel bad for whoever wants to try to.
They're going to keep that system going on everywhere. But that is the end of that story.
If you want more stories like this, search for our podcast, OK Storytime, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.